So today was obviously a huge day if you're a Nintendo fan, as we have been counting down the minutes and hours to this June 15th Nintendo Direct presentation. And while not all of the announcements that were on the predictions list or the wish list for a lot of people, we have to talk about the major games that they did announce and what we can expect for the future of other games that were missing from this E3 presentation. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we are coming hot off the heels of Nintendo's Direct presentation for E3 2021, and this was roughly about a 38-minute presentation with a ton of different game announcements, and there were quite a few notable missing titles that were heavily rumored that we did not see Nintendo report on. But to start off, I do want to start with the positive of this event, as there was some fantastic announcements. They did open up the show with a Smash character DLC reveal, and while I was not a huge fan of this one, as I was not really a hardcore Tekken fan back in the day, we did get Kayuza officially announced to join the roster, and this was not the big game-breaking announcement that we were probably expecting, as there was a ton of rumors for a Crash Bandicoot appearance or even a Master Chief appearance, which would have absolutely broke the internet, and I don't think that this one was that at all. It was another really cool cinematic trailer with him basically just murdering off all of the Smash Bros characters, and I did get really excited when I first saw the trailer start, because I saw Ganondorf and I thought maybe we had a shot of a Zelda character coming into Smash as one of these final DLC characters, but that did not happen. Now from there, I'm not going to go through every single announcement, because there was a bunch of smaller titles that I am just not really into by any way, shape, or form, so I am going to skip over some of the announcements here. But some of the other ones that actually are worth talking about is we did get the heavily rumored WarioWare game, which does look like it will be very fun on the Switch. That was the one that we reported on because Nintendo actually was sending out surveys to ask people what they would pay for a WarioWare game if they were to release one, and if $49.99 seemed like a fair price. So we kind of knew that this one was coming, since Nintendo was actually sending surveys to people specifically. But Wario has been missing from the Nintendo platforms for quite a while, so it is going to be welcome to see him return. Now, you also had Shin Megami Tensei 5, which absolutely looks amazing. For me, for that game, I did think, even though I'm not a hardcore like traditional RPG style fan, as I like more active combat, not so much turn-based style, I still thought this trailer did a great job of painting what this world is going to look like and some of the gameplay elements that you can expect from it. And then from there, you had Super Monkey Ball, which I'm a little bit torn on, because I'm actually very glad that we're seeing Super Monkey Ball come back to the Nintendo Switch, but I almost hate how Nintendo chose to actually recognize that this is the 20th anniversary for Super Monkey Ball, and it's like you're not even going to mention Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary or, you know, Metroid's 35th anniversary. And obviously we're going to get to what they talked about when it comes to the Zelda 35th anniversary, as that's the big topic for this video. But, you know, I was surprised to see them make a big deal about this Monkey Ball anniversary, when it's like, yes, it's cool, we're getting another game, it's a 20th year anniversary, that's great, but it's like, what are you doing with your other major franchises, Nintendo? So while I am pumped to see Super Monkey Ball return, as it was like some of the GameCube classics to be remastered to the Switch, I will probably pick this up. But I do think Nintendo needs to do a better job overall at celebrating all of their different anniversaries that they have for their very beloved franchises, far surpassing the likes of Monkey Ball. One of the announcements that had me very confused and excited at the same time was the Mario Party Superstars announcement, which I'm going to say I absolutely love this idea. I think it's fantastic. The entire way through the trailer, I originally thought this has got to be DLC for the original Super Mario Party, as it looks like it's almost the same engine and same environment. And then, to my surprise, they are actually doing over 100 mini games, and they are reviving 5 classic boards, which I really wish we had more than 5. I don't know why they're capping out at 5. Like, we should at least have 10 to 12 in there or something like that, but that's neither here nor there. The boards look great. They're throwback from the N64 days, and the big part of this announcement that sticks with me, that gets me really pumped, is the fact that they said all of these mini games will be button control based or compatible with button controls. And if you've heard from me about my opinions on Super Mario Party at all, you know that my biggest gripe with this series, since it actually went to the Wii back in the day, is that everything became motion controls. And while I like to use motion controls from time to time, I am more of an old school gamer, and I do not like to only be forced to have the option of motion controls. So the fact that these mini games are playable with button control styles is a big win for me. So even though this does appear it'll be a full standalone $60 release and not DLC for Super Mario Party, it will still be a day one pickup, as I very much look forward to playing through with a bunch of friends that experience Mario Party together and have fun together in more of a old school classic style setting. And it'll be cool to see some of these maps from the N64 era totally redone in HD from the ground up. So this one is a win for me. Now from there, you had the announcement that got me super hyped, and I was already enjoying the event at this point, but this one took it up to the next level. And it was actually relatively early in the event, and it was the unveiling of a 2D Metroid title, which absolutely looks incredible. And no, it's not a remaster, it's not a port, it is actually a mainline Metroid game in the mainline 2D series, which they originally showed Metroid 5 when they went into the gameplay trailer, which absolutely blew my mind. And this is actually going to have the title Metroid Dread, but this will be the 5th installment in the mainline Metroid storyline. So I think this is huge. I couldn't be more pumped for this game. I'm super happy we're getting it in 2021. It was heavily rumored online that Mercury Steam had this game totally finished, and it does appear that that is the case, as they're probably just doing final touch-ups before they get ready to ship in the latter half of 2021. But I will absolutely be picking up this Metroid title. For anybody who didn't get a chance to play like Samus Returns on the 3DS, or that newer style but still 2D Metroid, I would highly encourage you to play those games, as I think they're fantastic, and I will be looking forward to this one when it releases later in this year. And at least we don't have to wait till 2022. Now, obviously, we did not see the big announcement around Metroid Prime Trilogy. We did get a brief word about Metroid Prime 4, but it was just that the development is still progressing and going smoothly, and that is kind of where I was leaning towards. I was really hoping that we would at least see the Metroid Prime Trilogy announcement, but it does appear that since they're not even ready to show another trailer for Prime 4, and it's definitely going to be a far into 2022, if not 2023 type of game, I don't think we'll see them mention Trilogy until 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year before that game actually releases. So I'm still expecting Metroid Prime Trilogy, but it was obviously missing from this event, as it is probably just not ready to go due to Metroid Prime 4's development overall. So that's where I'm thinking on that one. But it was exciting to actually get, this is literally going to be the debut Metroid title for the Switch, as it is 4 years into its life cycle and we haven't seen a single Metroid title. So for me, being a huge Metroid fan, I couldn't be more pumped that we're finally getting something in the Metroid world when it comes to Switch. And then you did have a couple other like notable kind of trailer announcements. You had Advance Wars, which was a big one for a lot of people who did play through that game originally back in the day. I personally did not, so I'm not near as hyped for this title, but I do know a lot of fans will be excited to see that come over, and I think it is a nice welcome addition. But guys, the really big topic we have to address before we get into the positive part, which was a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, we got to talk about the fact that Zelda's 35th anniversary apparently is, for its entire acknowledgement, is getting a Game & Watch. And while that Game & Watch does look awesome, and you actually get 3 handheld Zelda titles on there, you get the original Legend of Zelda, and then you get Zelda 2, and you also get Link's Awakening. That's a fantastic deal. As I mean, they didn't announce the price point, but I'm sure it's going to be like 50 to 80 bucks. But it's like, where the heck is Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, Nintendo? Because the fact that you went all out for Mario's 35th anniversary, and then you have like the second most popular franchise of all time for its 35th anniversary, and you're only going to give it a Game & Watch. And I almost feel like they threw this together because they knew fans were expecting something so big from the 35th anniversary. But they very clearly said, Anuma said himself, that we have not planned any other merchandise or games or promotions around Zelda's 35th anniversary. And then you also have to ask the question, like, what the heck is GameStop doing with a poster commemorating it all of a sudden, with $30 worth of Zelda merch getting you a free GameStop poster? Like, it's just really weird to me that they're not doing anything else. And I was fully expecting and predicting Twilight Princess and Wind Waker to be announced as a combo pack. Now that that hasn't happened, I'm not saying it won't happen. I still think we see those titles hopefully come over at some point in the future, but now I'd be more inclined to believe that they'll probably be released individually, as I thought that the anniversary celebration is the one thing that could justify Nintendo doing 2 full price ports together in a single package, as they've never done that before with the Wii U, because they like to sell them individually at $60 a piece. So will we see these games at some point? I would still say yes, but you know what? Andy Robinson's tweet that said they're 100% 100% coming in 2021 doesn't look quite as promising at this point. We obviously still have the, the possibility of them being unveiled at a September or, October direct or whatever Nintendo's going to hold for the latter half of the year as they ramp up into the holiday season. So I'm still holding out just like a small grain of hope, but at this point in time, we're really not getting as many Zelda games as I guess we thought. So we have Skyward Sword HD to look forward to. That was another slight disappointment as they did not announce any new gameplay additions like I thought they might. So again, that's something else that I maybe was holding out a little bit extra hope for that did not happen. I don't think Skyward Sword HD needs a ton of revamp and changes. The biggest value add to me in that game is having the option for traditional controls, but I did think that maybe they would have some extra gameplay enhancements that they would cover in a trailer at E3, and that did not happen either. Now, so that's the negative part of Zelda, and it does suck that we didn't get everything that we were hoping for this 35th anniversary. But if you push all that to the side and you realize that we got a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, it is a confirmed 2022 title now. It sounds like it's going to be a late 2022 title, as it was just the year 2022 that was on there, not like a March or a Q1 or Q2 type title. So I think this comes as the holiday game now for 2022, just simply for the fact that they actually said they're aiming to complete development of this game in 2022, which does not commit them to that. Obviously, they could easily slide this into 2023, which I think is probably unlikely, but I do think that, it's possible. And obviously this work from home situation and the whole pandemic probably delayed this project a lot more than we realized up to this point. So that was big news in and of itself. But if you look at the trailer for this game and, set aside the fact that we're not getting it as soon as maybe we had hoped, this game is going to be phenomenal, as it looks like. Obviously it's still in the world of Hyrule, but the whole thing, and they actually hinted it to us at the end of the first trailer that they gave us, but these islands ascend into the sky and entire chunks of Hyrule will take place in the sky now. And I even thought, like, when Link was diving off into the sky, it looked like Skyward Sword 2. I mean, it has that element to it. So now we have a high vertical, way to explore this land of Hyrule. And I'm sure that that's where a lot of the changes will be at. Hopefully that's where certain dungeons will be at. We also saw things like Link's arm definitely being the item type of mechanic in this game, as he did have like fire shoot directly out of his arm. So it looks like the Sheikah Slate is probably a thing of the past, and whatever this thing on his hand is now the new item, mechanic that will drive a bunch of different Sheikah Slate type of enhancements to the gameplay. So I think that's a pretty safe bet. We saw Link teleport through, land to come up to the top area. It looked like he stepped on a puddle, and it's kind of acts as like a teleport type mechanic to get to the top of somewhere. So there's going to be a lot of cool exploration in this game. There was a bunch more than that. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed Link's hair, but he's straight up looking like an 80s metal hairband rock star. So I think that looks really awesome on Link. So I'm super excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Obviously, I have been this entire time, and at least we got a small glimpse. And while it wasn't everything, it wasn't a bunch of in-game footage. It didn't show us like the towns or, the NPCs or anything like that. It still appears that, Nintendo's taking their time with this, and they're absolutely going to deliver a fantastic Zelda experience. So I couldn't be more hyped that we at least got this trailer announced, because remember, guys, as much as everybody's maybe not feeling like this was a slam out of the park E3, if we didn't have Breath of the Wild 2 attached to the end of this would have been a much worse show overall, and that did really save it for me. So I am very glad that we saw that, and we have 2D Metroid. I think those were the two shining factors for me out of this entire direct presentation that was just about 38 minutes long. So it's a big deal. We obviously have some titles that we are missing that we did expect. There was the heavily rumored Donkey Kong that was not there at all. No mention of the 40th anniversary by any means. We also had like no mention of a Switch Online revision, which I was really expecting to at least get, hopefully Game Boy Advance games or N64 games, or even just something in the form of a party chat update so you can talk to people directly online through your Switch. Like, there was a lot of other hopes and rumors and speculation out there that people thought would be at this event that were not there at all. So it is something that it's like, they put together a great presentation. They had a lot of new games that are announced, and the thing that I do think that is kind of their saving grace is, unlike Microsoft's E3 presentation, which had a bunch of 2022 titles, most of these games that Nintendo gave us are coming out in 2021, and we have to keep in mind that as we walk forward into September and October, that we may get another huge blowout direct for the end of 2021 and then into 2022, as Nintendo does typically like to wait to announce things until they're a little closer to release. So all in all, I was still a huge fan of this Direct. I think it could have been a lot better. All things considered though, that we went through a pandemic year and that we are still recovering from that, I do think that this was a fantastic presentation. And especially guys, I started to get my expectations down just a little bit lower after seeing all these other companies go, like Capcom and Square Enix and all the different ones that really just dropped the ball as far as hype goes and what they had to show. Like, you could argue that a lot of the presentations at E3 this year shouldn't have even been presentations, and Nintendo at least had enough to show us that did save the show for me. So at this point in the video guys, obviously there's been a ton we talked about, but I want to know all your opinions. Are you let down by this Direct because not all the titles that you were wanting to see unveiled did get unveiled, or is it something that overall, because we got Breath of the Wild 2 and because we got the new Super Mario Party, or maybe other games that you're excited about, the 2D Metroid, you know, did that kind of save the show for you? So make sure you leave all your thoughts on that stuff in the comments down below with me, and then go ahead and hop over to the community tab where I will be asking you guys to grade the Nintendo Direct, as I'm really curious on what you guys thought about it overall as a whole. As at the time of filming this video, the thing just got over like an hour ago, so I'm still really curious to see all the dialogue that goes back and forth online around what you guys thought of this Nintendo Direct presentation. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you guys one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's gonna do it for me guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.